It's a trick, but it's a beauty. Okay, using any of the symbols, make the formula opposite correct. So of course, what they'll start messing about with is 10 plus 10 divided by 10 and 10 multiplied by 10 minus 10, or could you do, and they'll go and on they'll go. And of course, if you've got people in there who are competent with mathematics, not to claim to fame that I have, but if they've pride themselves in their mathematical abilities, you'll actually see quite a bit of frustration going on. This is impossible. This is not possible. It is. It's possible. And the answer is, now, as I said, it's a trick. And there's the answer. 10 to 10 equals 950. It's connected with time. But again, it just goes to show that you're immediately thinking it must be mathematics. And this is the whole idea that de Bono tries to put out in his theories, that we've got to try to find other ways of analyzing what we see in front of us, and that our immediate perception is not necessarily correct, and indeed is invariably incorrect. So always try to look at it from a different angle. What have we got coming up next? Another one of those match questions or puzzles. Not a stroke of genius, this one. That's the answer. Remove 8 matches and leave 2 squares that don't touch. But it's not necessarily the world's greatest trick or puzzle. However, they do have to think, and they are looking at it and picking up pieces and saying, oh no, and putting them back down. And then you just pick up these pieces and there you go, there's the answer. And it's what it does to the brain. It's not the amusement value that we're looking for, really. It's the fact that it shakes their brain up a little bit. Of course, it's nice to do that with a touch of amusement. Aha. Well, that was a unexpected piece of graphic that so I must have been fiddling about with some of the special effects. Forgive me for that. I'm not a big fan of those types of effects. Anyway, here's another one. 32 football teams participate in a competition. The 32 teams are paired off, the loser is eliminated, and the remaining teams play until there is a champion. How many games must be played? Now, the thing with this one is it's not difficult, of course, but what you will see is they'll do 32 divided by 2 equals 16, and they'll start adding up and going at it from this point of view. Whereas the answer is 32 minus 1. That's how many games are required. Instead of going at it from the ground up, you just go from the back down, or from the end down. 32 minus 1, 31 games. And this works with every single number. It's not just a trick with 32. 64 teams, 63 games. And you can do it with as many different numbers as you like. And it's every single time the same. What do we have now? Now I've always liked this one as well. So the horse jumped over the tower and the man disappeared. Explain. Now they'll have a few minutes of mulling this one over, discussing this amongst themselves, throwing out different ideas. And I always, I'll say, you're going down the right road there, or nice one, do something with that thought. Can someone jump on that thought that he's got and take it somewhere else? You know, try to prompt them and such, and get a little bit of atmosphere going. This one, chess. The knight takes the rook, or takes the pawn by jumping over the rook. So there's another one. Very nice. Now, here, I don't know how many are on here, but 10 or 12 or something like that. And they're absolutely excellent. And with a bit of luck, the way they're being presented here show you that there are different ways of doing it. You don't have to put them on paper and you know, photocopy the paper and do it like it's an exam. Beam them up, or if you don't have Beamer, just use your laptop. And if not, it's not like you need do them on the flip chart or on the board, and you go for it from that point of view. They don't even need to be on the computer. But what you're trying to do is get 2, 3, 5 minutes of atmosphere alteration. What's next? Jim Johnson. I love this one as well. So Jim Johnson stared through the dirty window on the 26th floor. Overcome with depression, he opens the window and jumps through it. It was a sheer drop outside, but when Jim landed, he was totally unhurt. How could this be? And again, you get the one about the balcony on the floor below, or some kind of, say, falls onto an awning, or stuff like this. You say, no, it's a sheer drop. There's nothing in the way. Nothing at all. It's sheer drop. On they go. And they're thinking about it. And this one, again, is an absolute classic because, of course, he stared through the dirty window. Now, that's where the initial clue is. Dirty window. Who deals with dirty windows? I detect that some of you may already be getting this one. And indeed, Jim is a window cleaner. He's sick of his job and he climbs into the room from outside. He's in one of those cleaning cradles and he climbs into the room and says, that's it, I've had enough, and walks out. So when he jumps, of course, he jumps about 4 feet, if that. So, but this is the difference between jumping out of the window and jumping in, and we don't get our thought processes to work that one out. Yeah? So, next up, not one of my favorites, but it's a classic, it's an old one. And hey, I guess some people must like it, so I thought I'd give it you. So a man is about to leave to visit friends. His wife tells him to be back by sunrise. He left clean shaven but returned on time with a real full beard. A big one. How is this possible? And, whatever I don't know what they'll come up with this one. I think I heard stuff about growth hormones and stuff like that. But again, it's about what we perceive. However, he lives in Barrow, Alaska, and when the sun sets in mid-November, it doesn't rise again for 2 months. It's obviously all about positioning on the planet. Okay, onward. A quote. And a very nice quote. Minds are like parachutes. They're only useful when they're open. Fantastic.